Good morning. It's Sunday, March 3rd, and I'm not a big fan of Governor Ron DeSantis. I really think he's kind of ignorant. He does foolish things. He's not a man I would trust with any major role, and I was against him running for president. But in this situation, he has done what I believe is the correct thing. He vetoed a bill which would have been one of the nation's most restrictive bans against children using social media. He did this on Friday, drawing a line between the debate over kids' online safety, over concerns which did not allow parents to supervise teens' activities. Now, when we get into the issue of what somebody's going to allow their children to watch on television or to do on a computer, playing certain games, watching certain events, in my mind, that falls into the laps of the parent. I don't think that people outside a parental household should have the right to tell people in that household how to manage their household. I would expect that most people are going to manage their household properly, although I know of many cases where that is not true. But still, you cannot manage what people see on television or on their mobile phones or on their laptops all the time. And if you don't want your children to behave a certain way, then why do they have a phone, a mobile phone? I think it's crazy that almost every child in the country has a mobile phone. That's ridiculous. That prevents them from having activities that are healthy, playing ball, hanging out with the kids, racing around the corners, coming home drinking milk and then going out to play. That's what it used to be like. Now everybody has a mobile phone or some other device where they can watch things that might be appropriate and not be appropriate. So I think that all of these state legislatures that are trying to come up with schemes to prevent people from watching and doing what they do at home is foolish. Now, if it's putting out porn, terrible stuff like that, maybe I would be in favor of some form of restriction. But you can't restrict people from doing everything. You have to teach them what's right and wrong, and you have to allow them to look and be open to the questions that your kids are going to come back with. That's what it's all about to be a good parent. Children are not good students or great students without some outside help, the vision of their parent. The mere fact that some kid at 7 or 8 knows his parents want him to go to university. The mere fact that many parents pay attention to what's happening in school. Many of them are stupid enough to go to schools and fight for book banning or something like that. So we have parents who are over the edge, but we can't restrict them from parenting. Much of what happens in a child's life is totally dependent on the parental guidance that they receive or the lack of parental guidance. And in many cases, you have people who have grown up to be great, and they will readily admit that their parents did very little to help them, except make sure that they did their homework and allowed them to pick their own friend and made their homes a welcoming place for anybody that wanted to come in and visit. There were many times when I have seen my parents in conflict with my grandparents about the way I should have been raised, but I got it okay. I came out okay, and so will many other people. You have to watch out for the bad thing. And you have to make sure that the kids understand why those things are bad. But bans on social media and bans on books are not the way to do it. People have to be exposed to those items. They have to see it. Then they have to be taught to recognize why those events or those practices are not good for society, not good for you, not good for them. And quite possibly there can be bias on the part of the parent on a certain particular thing. We have many situations where people are against other groups of people for no reason except their color or their religion. Is that what we want? In this country, we have a huge movement to help maintain our white Christianity. Is that the right thing we want to do? Are people terrified because Black Lives Matter? Yes. So all of these things factor into the education of your children. And you have to be very careful. You may disagree with what the school curriculum is, but that's what it is. And it's your job, if you disagree, to go to school and ask for changes, but not banning books and stupid things like that. And we don't have, in my mind, full curricula anymore. Many pieces of history are being dropped by the wayside. And a lot of stuff is being dropped by the wayside because there's not enough time to teach it. And maybe educational structures have to be rethought, refinished. And maybe it's not important to have 5 years of English or whatever it is. Or maybe the school day has to be changed. Or at least there are many topics that should be electives in school as opposed to required. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done about educating children and maintaining parental guidance. It isn't an easy job to be a parent. You got to be very lucky that the kids stay healthy for long and they meet the criteria that you desire. And then you have to be flexible enough to allow them to find their own way, even if you disagree with some of the things that they choose. So there's a lot that goes on in being a parent. And everybody wants to be a great parent, but that's not possible. And then, of course, we have a society now where many, many parents are both working, and guidance to the children becomes a very difficult thing. So I think we need guidance. And I don't think it has to be the type of guidance that's terrifying. It needs to be explanatory. It needs to be easygoing and recognizable. And so I leave you with that this morning. How to raise your children correctly. Have a great day. Bye.